I'm Jerry. Today I'm going to tell you a story. The story begins on the busy streets of New York City. All around, skyscrapers shine, people rush, car horns blare, and chaos reigns. Yet, amid all this hustle, many people feel extremely alone. I often sit in Central Park and wonder, what is truly the most valuable thing in life? Some say money, some say dreams, others say success. But I have realized the greatest things are time and relationships. Because once time passes, it never returns. And once a relationship breaks, it never goes back to the way it was. If you give your time to the wrong person, it will be a great loss in life. If you keep a relationship with someone who does not value you, it will only bring pain. I have learned to give my time to those who understand my worth, and to keep relationships with those who respect me. In my own life, there is proof of this. Living in New York, I've learned so much. Everyone is rushing here, but no one has time to look at each other. Friendship, love, they seem to get lost in the crowd. So I thought, I will share my story so you can learn a lesson. This story is not just about love, but also about self-respect, patience, and rising again. Now listen, my experiences in life may also change you. I first realized the true value of a relationship when I loved someone deeply. She became like a light in my life. We walked the streets of Manhattan, spent hours talking on the Brooklyn Bridge. I gave my time, my heart, every moment revolved around her. But over time I realized she did not value me the same way. I did everything for her, yet she was distant, busy in her own world. At first I thought, maybe it's temporary, but day by day, the distance only grew. Still, I told myself, maybe one day she will understand. Back then, I did not realize that as neglect grows, the relationship weakens. One night, I walked alone amidst the bright crowds of Times Square, thousands of people all around, yet no one beside me. At that moment, I realized, even if you have a partner, if there is no importance, the relationship is meaningless. This was my first lesson. Give your time only to those who understand you. Because wasting time on the wrong person leaves only emptiness. This was the first major shock of my life. But the story didn't end there. In fact, that was just the beginning. Inside me, the affection still remained. Even though I knew she didn't value me, I couldn't forget her. She was in my every thought, in every dream. I kept telling myself, you're not here. Yet I think of you. Even after neglect, I wanted to talk to her. It was a strange attraction that logic couldn't explain. But this affection slowly began to weaken me. Every time she didn't reply, my heart broke. I felt as if I was fighting a one-sided battle. The nights in New York felt extremely lonely. Thousands of stars in the sky, countless lights in the city, yet my heart was dark. I realized neglect can break a person from within. Yet it's also true, neglect teaches strength. I told myself, no, I need to change. Then came a turning realization in my life. I decided, first I needed to find myself. If someone does not value me, it does not lessen my worth. This was the second lesson of my life. No matter how deep affection is, eventually you must learn to free yourself. From that day, I started a new routine for myself. Every morning, I ran in Central Park. I sat at a nearby coffee shop, drank coffee, wrote in my notebook. What lesson did today bring? I learned to understand that life isn't just about having someone, but discovering yourself. I listened to music, painted, met new friends. These small things taught me to live again. At first, it was hard because my mind kept returning to the old person. But gradually, I realized that was the true freedom. I wrote, "I'm the hero of my life, not anyone's shadow." This line strengthened my confidence every day. I cried less, started laughing more. I understood if a relationship is one-sided, it is like poison. But if a relationship is built on mutual respect and time, that is true love. And giving yourself time means being reborn. This was my third lesson. Discover yourself and life becomes beautiful. Gradually, I began to mingle with new people. Some were inspired by my pain. Some said, "Even in your pain, the way you stand teaches us." I realized my experiences are not just mine. They can inspire others too. I began forming new relationships. But this time, I made one thing clear. I will only keep relationships with respect. For those who neglect me, there's no waiting. I told myself, my self-respect is my greatest treasure. If someone is a true companion, they will never belittle me. New friendships gave me new hope. I realized that when respect exists, there is peace like light in a relationship. Where there is no respect, there is only darkness. This was my fourth lesson. Without respect, no relationship lasts. The lights of New York now held a new meaning for me. Before, they seemed just like the city's hustle. Now they symbolized my strength. New people came into my life. One of them, Emily. She was a student at New York University. We first met in a library. I was reading a book when she came over and asked, "Are you sitting alone?" I smiled and said, "Yes, but even alone, I'm learning." That moment, our conversation began. Emily was lively, always positive. She said to me, "Why do you always write sad stories? Write some happy ones too." That line stuck with me. I realized if I cling to sadness, I will lose the path to happiness. Emily taught me to live anew. We studied together, sat in cafes, watched movies. I learned to laugh again. Friendship had no pressure, no neglect, only genuine companionship. This strengthened me even more. Time spent with Emily taught me good people don't always mean love, but the right company is invaluable. This was my fifth lesson. Friendship is never less than love. Sometimes friendship alone rebuilds life. I could feel myself gradually changing. The person who once broke inside is now standing again. Today, as I tell this story, one thought keeps spinning in my mind. Time and relationships are the most valuable things in the world. Give your time to someone who understands your worth. Keep relationships with those who respect you. Never accept neglect. Because you're precious, nothing in the world is more valuable. I have learned there can be affection, there can be pain, but self-respect is true power. If you remain strong even when alone, one day the whole world will respect you. This is my final lesson. You are your greatest inspiration. My story ends here, but your story begins now.